Have you ever felt stuck in life, like you're not moving forward? Do you ever wonder, why do I keep making the same mistakes? Or, how can I truly improve myself? These are questions we all ask ourselves at some point. We all want to become better versions of ourselves, but the path to self-improvement isn't always clear. Imagine a person who wants to climb a mountain but keeps turning back because the path seems too difficult. What if, instead of avoiding the climb, they focused on the next step in front of them? With every small step, they get closer to the top. Becoming a better you is similar. It's not about perfection, but progress. Each day is a chance to take that next step, no matter how small. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore ways to improve, grow, and live a more meaningful life through simple but powerful teachings. This video will guide you through insights from Buddhism that can help transform your mind, body, and spirit, leading to a better version of yourself. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay connected and keep receiving valuable wisdom for your life. This journey of self-improvement is just beginning, and you won't want to miss the transformation that's waiting for you. Let's dive into the first step of becoming a better you. Through the simple practices shared in this video, you'll learn how to break free from negative patterns and make lasting changes in your life. Stay with us and discover how small shifts in your mindset can lead to big results. Understanding your mind, the first step in self-improvement. To begin the journey of becoming a better you, you must first understand where you are right now. This means turning your attention inward and paying close attention to your mind. But how do we understand our own minds? How do we see clearly what's happening inside us? Your mind is like a calm pond, but it's often stirred up by the winds of thoughts, emotions, and desires. When the water is clear and still, you can see the bottom. But when it is disturbed, all you see is a blurry mess. This is how the mind works. When our thoughts are scattered, it's difficult to understand ourselves or make wise decisions. But when the mind is still, everything becomes clear. Understanding your mind begins with awareness. This awareness is not just being aware of your thoughts, but also of the feelings and sensations that arise within you. The more you observe without judgment, the more you can understand the true nature of your mind. You see, your mind is not a fixed thing. It is constantly changing, moving like the clouds in the sky. Some thoughts are like clouds that come and go quickly, while others linger longer, shaping your reality. When you start to observe your mind, you begin to notice patterns. Perhaps you are often anxious, or you struggle with anger. Or maybe you get lost in daydreams, escaping the present moment. These are all patterns that are deeply rooted in your mind, and they can hold you back from becoming the person you want to be. But the good news is, these patterns are not permanent. They are not who you are, they are just habits of the mind. The first step to self-improvement is recognizing these patterns. If you are constantly feeling anxious, for example, ask yourself why. Where does this anxiety come from? What triggers it? Is it the fear of the future or the weight of expectations? Understanding these triggers is the first step toward overcoming them. When you can identify the roots of your anxiety, you can begin to loosen their grip. Buddhism teaches us that suffering comes from attachment and desire. We attach ourselves to things, people, and outcomes, believing that they will bring us happiness. But the truth is, these attachments only create suffering because they are impermanent. Everything in life changes, and when we are attached to something that is always shifting, we experience frustration and pain. The same applies to your mind. If you are attached to certain thoughts or feelings, you are creating unnecessary suffering for yourself. But by recognizing these attachments, you can begin to let them go. A simple practice to understand your mind better is to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Imagine you are sitting by the side of a river, watching the water flow. Thoughts are like leaves floating on the surface of the water. At first, you may feel the urge to grab each leaf and hold it, but soon you realize this only keeps you busy and tired. Instead, you allow the leaves to pass by without interference. In the same way, when you observe your thoughts without holding on to them, they begin to lose their power over you. You don't need to react to every thought that comes into your mind. Just let them flow, and you will find peace in the stillness. This kind of awareness requires patience and practice. It is not something that can be achieved overnight. But every moment you spend observing your thoughts brings you closer to understanding your mind. And the more you understand your mind, the more you can control it, rather than letting it control you. In Buddhism, there is a term called mindfulness. This means paying attention to the present moment with full awareness, without distraction. Mindfulness is not just a practice. It is a way of living. It is about being fully present in everything you do, whether it's eating, walking, or talking to someone. When you practice mindfulness, you are training your mind to stay focused and calm, no matter what is happening around you. To be mindful, you don't need to meditate for hours every day. Simple moments of mindfulness throughout your day can make a big difference. When you feel your mind racing or becoming overwhelmed, take a deep breath and focus on the present moment. Notice the sensations around you, the sounds, the smells, the feel of the ground beneath your feet. This simple act of returning to the present can bring clarity to your mind and help you see things as they truly are. It is also important to remember that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky, but you are the sky itself, vast, open, and unchanging. Thoughts come and go, but the awareness that observes them remains constant. By recognizing this, you free yourself from being controlled by your thoughts. You can choose how to respond to them, rather than reacting automatically. The more you practice awareness and mindfulness, the clearer your mind will become. And the clearer your mind, the better equipped you will be to make wise decisions. You will no longer be led by fear, anger, or confusion, but by a calm and centered mind. This is the foundation for becoming a better you. In this journey of self-improvement, remember that you are not looking for perfection. You are looking for progress. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you want to be. Then by understanding your mind, you are already on the right path. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the first step is always awareness. So, take a moment now to become aware of your thoughts. Notice what's happening inside your mind at this very moment. Are there any patterns you can identify? Is there any attachment to certain thoughts or feelings? By simply observing, you are taking the first step toward understanding your mind and, ultimately, becoming a better you. As you continue to practice mindfulness and awareness, remember that this is not a race. Be patient with yourself. Change takes time, and the mind is a complex thing. But with each moment of awareness, you are planting seeds of wisdom and growth. In time, these seeds will blossom, and you will see the transformation that comes from understanding your mind deeply. In Buddhism, the ultimate goal is enlightenment, an awakened state of mind where you are free from ignorance, suffering, and attachment. While this may seem like a distant goal, it is something you can move toward with every mindful step you take. The key is not to focus on the end result, but to enjoy the journey itself, knowing that each step brings you closer to the wisdom and peace that comes from truly understanding yourself. By learning to understand your mind, you are not only improving yourself, but you are also creating a ripple effect that will impact everyone around you. A calm, aware mind leads to better relationships, better decisions, and a more peaceful life. This is the power of understanding your mind. It is the first and most important step on the path to becoming a better you. Embracing impermanence, finding freedom in change. In life, change is the only constant. Every moment is fleeting, and nothing stays the same forever. Yet, we often resist change. We hold on to the past, cling to what is familiar, and fear what lies ahead. But what if we could learn to embrace change instead of fearing it? What if, instead of resisting the flow of life, we became part of it? This is the wisdom of impermanence. The truth is, everything in life is impermanent. Our thoughts, feelings, and even our bodies are constantly changing. The seasons change, the sun rises and sets, and we grow older each day. Yet, we often act as if life should stay the same. We want our comfort, our security, and our plans to remain untouched. But this is a misunderstanding of life itself. To understand impermanence is to understand the nature of all things. Just as the weather shifts from day to day, our experiences shift as well. One day we may feel happy, and the next, we may feel sad. One moment we are filled with energy, and the next, we are exhausted. This constant change is natural, and it is through embracing it that we find peace. Imagine a tree in the forest. Each year, The leaves change colors, fall to the ground, and new ones grow in their place. The tree does not fight this process. It allows the seasons to pass, knowing that this is the way of nature. The tree understands that the leaves it has now are not permanent, and neither is the branch they grow on. The tree does not resist. It simply lives in harmony with the changing seasons. In the same way, we must learn to live in harmony with the changes in our own lives. When we resist change, we suffer. We create stress and anxiety by clinging to things that are not meant to last. We create attachment, which binds us to the past and prevents us from moving forward. But when we embrace impermanence, we allow ourselves the freedom to grow, to let go, and to move with the flow of life. How can we do this? The first step is to recognize that change is inevitable. We cannot avoid it, and we do not need to fear it. Everything is in a constant state of becoming and passing away. If we try to hold on to something forever, we create suffering for ourselves. The things we are attached to may be beautiful, comforting, or familiar, but they are not permanent. Just as the leaves fall from the tree, the things in our lives change and pass away. Let go of the need to control. Life is not something we can control. It flows like a river, carrying us along with it. We cannot stop the flow of the river, but we can choose how we navigate it. When we stop fighting against change, we stop wasting energy on things we cannot control. Instead, we focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses to the changes around us. This does not mean that we should give up on our dreams or stop trying to improve. It means we should stop expecting life to always be the way we want it to be. It means we should stop trying to hold on to things that are not meant to stay. We learn to appreciate the present moment without attaching ourselves to it. We savor the beauty of the changing seasons, knowing that each moment is a gift. In Buddhism, this understanding of impermanence is called anicca. It is the realization that all things are transient and that nothing lasts forever. This understanding is not meant to bring despair, but to bring freedom. When we accept impermanence, we free ourselves from the need to control everything. We let go of our attachment to the past and future, and we learn to live in the present. Think of a flower. The beauty of the flower is not in its permanence, but in its fleeting nature. It blooms for a short time, and then it withers and fades. The flower does not cling to its beauty. It simply exists in its full expression for as long as it can. And when its time comes, it falls away, giving space for new flowers to grow. The flower's beauty is found in its impermanence, in its moment of blooming, and in its ability to let go. In the same way, our lives are filled with moments of beauty. We experience love, joy, and connection, but these moments are not meant to last forever. They are meant to be appreciated in the present, without attachment. We must learn to let go of the need to hold on to these moments. When we do, we open ourselves to even greater experiences and deeper understanding. This does not mean that we should not plan for the future or hold on to our goals. It means we should not become so attached to our plans that we lose sight of the present. We should live fully in each moment, knowing that the future will unfold in its own time. When we embrace impermanence, we stop worrying about what might happen and start focusing on what is happening right now. Embracing impermanence also teaches us to be more compassionate. When we understand that nothing lasts forever, we become more gentle with ourselves and others. We stop judging ourselves for our mistakes, knowing that they are part of the natural process of growth. We stop holding grudges against others, knowing that their actions, too, are shaped by impermanence. We begin to see the world with kinder eyes, recognizing that everyone is doing the best they can in each moment, just as we are. In our daily lives, we can practice embracing impermanence by being more mindful. When we feel anger, sadness, or frustration, we can remind ourselves that these feelings are temporary. Just as the weather changes, so do our emotions. We do not need to cling to them. We can simply notice them, allow them to pass, and move forward with a lighter heart. Similarly, when we experience happiness or success, we can enjoy these moments without expecting them to last forever. Instead of clinging to them, we can appreciate them fully for what they are, transient gifts that will eventually pass. In doing so, we free ourselves from the fear of losing what we love and open ourselves to the possibility of new experiences. Embracing impermanence brings peace because it teaches us that life is not about holding on, but about letting go. It teaches us that life is not about clinging to the past or grasping at the future. Life is about being fully present in each moment, accepting change, and allowing ourselves to flow with it. This acceptance of impermanence frees us from the chains of attachment and allows us to live with greater ease and joy. So, when you find yourself resisting change, remember the flower, the tree, and the seasons. Remember that change is natural and inevitable, and instead of fighting it, learn to embrace it. Let go of your attachments and allow yourself to grow and transform. This is the path to true freedom and peace. Embrace impermanence, and you will find that life becomes easier, lighter, and more beautiful. Letting go of attachments, the key to true growth. In life, we hold on to many things, ideas, objects, people, even feelings. These attachments shape how we see the world. But have you ever wondered why it's so hard to let go? Why does it feel like losing something means losing a part of ourselves? The truth is, attachment comes from fear. We fear that without certain things, we will not be complete. We fear that without that one person, that one job, that one possession, our happiness will slip away. But life teaches us that nothing lasts forever. Everything is in a constant state of change. When we cling too tightly to what we have, we miss the beauty and the flow of life. Imagine you are holding a beautiful flower in your hand. You treasure it, admire its colors, its fragrance. But the moment you try to hold on too tightly, the flower begins to wither. Its petals fall away, and it loses its vibrancy. It is the same with everything in life. The more we try to control or hold on to something, the more we suffocate its true essence. This is where Buddhism teaches us the power of non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean not caring. It means letting go of the need to control. It means enjoying the moment without fear of losing it. It's like watching a sunset. It's beautiful, but we don't try to hold on to it. We simply watch and appreciate it for what it is. The beauty lies in the impermanence of it. When we let go of attachments, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We stop fighting against the flow of life. We allow ourselves to experience the present without the constant worry about what might happen in the future. It's like learning to trust the river instead of trying to swim against its current. But how do we start letting go? It begins with understanding that everything is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. Whether it's our emotions, our relationships, or even our thoughts. By accepting this, we stop clinging to things that no longer serve us. We make space for new experiences, new opportunities, and new ways of thinking. Start by looking at your life. What are you holding on to? Are there things, people, or even beliefs that are preventing you from moving forward? Are there fears that you've carried with you for so long that they've become a part of who you are? The first step in letting go is acknowledging what we hold on to, even if it's uncomfortable. Once we see it, we can begin to release it. It's not always easy to let go. Sometimes, it feels like we're losing a part of ourselves. But remember, when you let go of what no longer serves you, you make room for what truly matters. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about making space for new growth. Just as a tree sheds its leaves to make room for new ones, we must shed our old attachments to grow into the person we are meant to be. In Buddhism, this practice is called detachment, not in the sense of being indifferent, but in the sense of not being controlled by our desires. When we practice detachment, we can enjoy the good things in life without becoming overly attached to them. We can love deeply without fear of loss. We can live fully without clinging to any one moment. Think of it like holding a bird in your hand. You don't need to grasp it tightly to keep it. Instead, you let it rest gently, knowing that if it flies away, it was never truly yours to begin with. By releasing our attachments, we allow ourselves to experience life more fully, without the burden of holding on to things that are beyond our control. To practice non-attachment, we must also practice mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we become aware of our attachments, whether it's to a material object, a relationship, or even a certain outcome, we can learn to let them go. We learn to sit with discomfort without needing to fix it or make it go away. When we stop identifying ourselves with our attachments, we begin to uncover our true nature. We realize that our happiness does not depend on anything outside of us. It comes from within. The peace we seek is already there, beneath all the layers of attachment. By letting go of what we don't need, we make space for that inner peace to shine through. Letting go also requires forgiveness. We may hold on to past hurts, grudges, or anger, thinking that by holding on, we are somehow protecting ourselves. But in reality, holding on to these negative emotions only hurts us. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the past. We stop letting it control our present. We open our hearts to healing and peace. It's important to remember that letting go does not mean we stop caring. We can still love, still be kind, still engage with the world. The difference is, we no longer attach our happiness to the outcome. We act from a place of love and compassion, not from fear or need. This is the true meaning of freedom, freedom from the attachments that bind us. Every time we let go of something that no longer serves us, we take a step closer to the person we are meant to be. Whether it's letting go of a negative thought, a toxic relationship, or a past regret, we are shedding layers of old beliefs and patterns that no longer align with our true self. With each step, we become lighter, freer, and more at peace with who we are. So, how can we start letting go today? It starts with small steps. Begin by noticing the things you're attached to, whether it's a person, an outcome, or a material possession. See how it makes you feel. Does it bring you peace, or does it create anxiety? Is it helping you grow, or is it holding you back? Once you've identified what you're holding on to, ask yourself, can I let this go? In time, letting go becomes easier. As we practice mindfulness and non-attachment, we start to realize that we don't need anything outside of ourselves to be happy. Our true happiness comes from within. It is not dependent on what we have or who we are with. It is simply the peace that comes from living fully in the present moment, free from the weight of unnecessary attachments. As you move forward in your journey, remember that letting go is not an end, but a beginning. Every time we release something, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We allow ourselves to grow, to learn, and to experience life with a fresh perspective. Letting go is not a loss, it is a gain of freedom, peace, and growth. In Buddhism, this concept of non-attachment is closely tied to the idea of impermanence. Everything is constantly changing, and when we hold on too tightly, we prevent ourselves from experiencing the flow of life. But when we let go, we align ourselves with the natural rhythms of the universe. We accept that life is ever-changing, and we become at peace with the ebb and flow of all things. The more we practice letting go, the more we realize that we don't need to hold on to anything to be happy. We don't need to control every aspect of our lives. Instead, we can trust in the natural unfolding of things, knowing that everything will fall into place when the time is right. So, let go. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the fears that hold you back. Let go of the attachments that weigh you down. In doing so, you will discover a new sense of freedom, peace, and growth, one step at a time. Practicing mindfulness, the foundation of personal transformation. In the stillness of the present moment, everything you seek to become is already within you. To move forward, you must first learn to truly be where you are. This is the essence of mindfulness, being fully present in each moment without distraction. It is the gateway to personal transformation. Many people believe that transformation happens in grand gestures or dramatic shifts. But true change, the kind that lasts, begins with something far simpler: awareness. When you practice mindfulness, you create space for awareness in your daily life. Every moment, whether mundane or extraordinary, holds the potential to help you grow. The key is to observe, without judgment, without expectation. Just observe. Mindfulness is not something you achieve once and for all. It's a practice, like learning to ride a bike or to play an instrument. At first, it may feel awkward, uncomfortable, even frustrating. Your mind will wander, thoughts will distract you, and it will feel like a constant struggle to return to the present. But that's the practice. Each time your mind drifts and you gently bring it back to the present moment, you strengthen your ability to remain centered. Imagine you are sitting quietly, just breathing. A thought comes to your mind. It could be about work, something troubling, or even something as simple as what to have for dinner. Instead of following that thought, simply notice it. Acknowledge it, then let it go. Like a cloud drifting across the sky, you let it pass, and you return to your breath. This is mindfulness in action. When you bring mindfulness into your everyday life, you begin to notice the richness in the ordinary. The feel of the sun on your skin, the sound of birds chirping, the taste of food in your mouth. These simple things that often go unnoticed become deeply meaningful. And when you cultivate this kind of awareness, it opens up a deeper understanding of who you are. A common misconception is that mindfulness requires you to stop thinking altogether. This is not true. You cannot stop the flow of thoughts completely. It's natural for your mind to wander. The practice of mindfulness is not about controlling your thoughts, but about observing them. You become a watcher of your own mind. In doing so, you break free from the grip of your thoughts and gain the freedom to choose how to respond to them. Mindfulness also teaches you to listen deeply. When you listen with full attention, not just to others, but to yourself, you begin to understand your own needs, desires, and fears. You become aware of the inner dialogue that shapes your life. This understanding allows you to make conscious choices, rather than reacting unconsciously based on old patterns. As you continue practicing mindfulness, you may notice changes in your emotions. Rather than being swept away by anger, anxiety, or frustration, you begin to respond with calm and clarity. You no longer feel controlled by your emotions. Instead, you observe them without getting lost in them. This allows you to approach life with a sense of peace and equanimity. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for overcoming distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Our attention is constantly pulled in different directions, whether by our phones, social media, or the demands of work and life. But when you practice mindfulness, you reclaim your attention. You bring your focus back to the task at hand. Whether you're working, eating, or simply resting, you do it with full presence. In Buddhism, mindfulness is often referred to as the way of awakening. It is the path that leads to greater wisdom, compassion, and insight. Through mindfulness, you begin to see things as they truly are, without the filters of judgment or attachment. You see the world in its natural, impermanent state, and you come to understand the interconnectedness of all things. One of the profound benefits of mindfulness is that it helps you break free from the cycle of suffering. So often, we suffer because we resist the way things are. We wish things were different, and in doing so, we create unnecessary pain for ourselves. Mindfulness teaches us to accept things as they are, without trying to change them. This acceptance does not mean passivity. Rather, it means that you acknowledge the present moment with open eyes and a compassionate heart. By embracing mindfulness, you begin to see the transient nature of all things. Nothing in life is permanent. Your emotions, your thoughts, your experiences, all are temporary. When you see things as they truly are, you begin to let go of your attachment to them. You understand that nothing is worth clinging to, and this realization brings deep freedom. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you cultivate the ability to live fully in each moment. You stop living in the past or the future, and you begin to appreciate the beauty and richness of the now. Life becomes fuller, more vibrant, and more meaningful when you are fully present in it. Mindfulness also fosters a deep sense of gratitude. When you're present with your life, you begin to appreciate the things you've taken for granted. You see beauty in the simplest things: the warmth of the sun, the sound of your breath, the smile of a loved one. This gratitude shifts your perspective, making you feel more content, more at peace. Another important aspect of mindfulness is its ability to help you cultivate self-compassion. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to develop a kinder, gentler attitude toward yourself. Rather than criticizing yourself for mistakes or shortcomings, you begin to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. This self-compassion is essential for personal growth because it creates a foundation of love and acceptance from which you can transform. Mindfulness also enhances your ability to make decisions. When you are present in the moment, you are more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. This awareness helps you make choices that are aligned with your values and goals, rather than being driven by impulse or habit. You start to act with intention and purpose, and this leads to greater fulfillment in your life. When you incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine, it becomes a natural part of who you are. It's not just something you do during meditation, or for a few minutes each day, it becomes a way of living. You begin to see the world through a lens of awareness, and every action, thought, and breath becomes an opportunity for growth and transformation. At its core, mindfulness is about cultivating awareness without judgment. You simply observe your thoughts, feelings, and experiences as they arise, and you let them go without attachment. This practice frees you from the cycle of craving and aversion that causes suffering. You become more peaceful, more present, and more connected to the world around you. The power of mindfulness lies in its simplicity. You don't need to achieve anything extraordinary or do anything complex. All you need to do is show up to the present moment with awareness. With time and practice, this simple act can bring profound transformation to your life. As you continue on your journey of personal growth, remember that mindfulness is not about perfection. It is a practice, and like any practice, it takes time to develop. Be patient with yourself, and know that each moment of mindfulness brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. Through mindfulness, you will begin to unlock your full potential and discover the peace, wisdom, and clarity that have always been within you. Overcoming negative thoughts, cultivating positive change. Negative thoughts are like dark clouds that cover the sky. At first, they may seem small, just a passing worry or a fleeting doubt. But if we don't pay attention, they begin to gather and grow. Slowly, they block the light, and before we know it, we're stuck in a storm of negativity. It becomes harder to see the clear blue sky of peace, happiness, and joy. But what if I told you these clouds are not permanent? What if they could dissolve, leaving behind a clear sky? The truth is, you have the power to clear your mind of negativity, just as the sun can break through the clouds. It begins with understanding one simple fact. Your thoughts are not you. They are just passing clouds in the sky of your mind. In Buddhism, we are taught to view our thoughts without attachment. Imagine that your mind is like a vast sky. Thoughts, both positive and negative, come and go like clouds. Some clouds may be dark and heavy, others may be light and fluffy, but they are all temporary. If you attach to a negative thought, it can feel like that cloud is going to stay forever, but it won't. It will pass. The first step in overcoming negative thoughts is recognizing them for what they are, just thoughts. When you catch yourself in a negative spiral, stop for a moment and observe. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helping me? If the answer is no, let it go. Just like clouds that float away, your thoughts too will pass if you don't hold on to them. Buddhism teaches us that the root of negative thinking is often attachment. We attach to our fears, our desires, and our past hurts. These attachments form the foundation of negative thought patterns. But when we practice letting go, we can release these attachments and stop the cycle of negativity. A powerful tool for overcoming negative thoughts is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. When a negative thought arises, mindfulness allows you to notice it without reacting. You become aware of it, but you don't identify with it. It's just a thought passing through your mind. For example, let's say you have a thought like, "I'm not good enough." Instead of letting that thought take over, you simply observe it. "Ah, I see. I'm having a thought that says I'm not good enough." You don't have to believe it or act on it. You simply let it pass, like a leaf floating down a stream. Another practice that can help you overcome negative thoughts is the cultivation of compassion. When you are kind and compassionate to yourself, it's easier to break free from the grip of negativity. Negative thoughts often arise from self-criticism, from believing that you are not worthy or capable. But when you treat yourself with the same love and kindness you would offer a dear friend, those negative thoughts lose their power. To begin cultivating compassion, start with simple affirmations. When you feel a negative thought arise, repeat to yourself, "I am enough. I am worthy of love and happiness." It may feel strange at first, but over time, these affirmations can shift your mindset. You begin to replace negative self-talk with loving, affirming thoughts. Another way to transform negativity is by shifting your focus. It's easy to become fixated on what's wrong in your life, especially when things aren't going well. But by turning your attention to what's going right, you can begin to change your perspective. Look for small blessings throughout your day, no matter how small they seem. Maybe it's a warm cup of tea, a beautiful sunset, or a kind word from a friend. These simple things can remind you that life is full of goodness, even in the midst of challenges. One powerful Buddhist practice for shifting focus is gratitude. When you focus on gratitude, you train your mind to see the good in your life. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you are grateful for. It could be your health, your family, or even the simple fact that you are alive. Gratitude has the power to transform your mindset and help you move away from negativity. When you begin to notice negative thoughts, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought based in reality? Often, we create stories in our minds that are not true. We imagine worst-case scenarios or replay past mistakes over and over. But these thoughts are just illusions. They are not the truth. The truth is that you are capable, you are enough, and you are worthy of love and happiness. One of the most important things to remember is that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go, but they do not define you. You are the one who observes them, the one who can choose which ones to hold on to and which ones to let go. When you realize this, it becomes easier to break free from the cycle of negativity. Let's take a moment to practice this together. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you breathe in, notice any negative thoughts that arise. Observe them without judgment. See them as clouds in the sky of your mind. Let them pass by. Now, take a moment to focus on something positive. Maybe it's a loving memory, a beautiful moment from your day, or something you are grateful for. Let that feeling fill your heart. With each breath, let go of negativity and welcome peace. As you continue on your journey of self-improvement, remember that overcoming negative thoughts is not an event, but a practice. It's a daily effort, a small step at a time. Some days will be easier than others, but with each step, you will become stronger. Just like the sun breaks through the clouds, your mind can be cleared of negativity. Keep practicing, and you will begin to see the world in a new light. Remember, the mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of positivity, compassion, and gratitude, you will reap a harvest of peace and joy. But if you allow negative thoughts to take root, they will grow into weeds. You have the power to choose what you plant in your mind. Choose wisely, and your life will bloom with beauty and light. So, every time a negative thought arises, remind yourself, this is just a cloud passing by. I do not have to hold on to it. With this simple practice, you begin to clear the sky of your mind, and in time, you'll find yourself living in the warmth of the sun, free from the clouds of negativity. Compassion and empathy, building stronger connections. Imagine a flower in a field, reaching towards the sun. It does not choose who gets to see its beauty or who gets to smell its fragrance. It simply exists, giving freely without asking for anything in return. This is what compassion and empathy are like in their purest form, offering love, understanding, and support to others without conditions or expectations. Compassion and empathy are the keys to forming deeper, more meaningful connections with those around you. But what exactly does it mean to live with compassion? Compassion isn't just about feeling sorry for someone or giving them a hand when they need help. It is about truly understanding another person's pain or joy and being present with them in that moment, without judgment or criticism. It is a way of being that opens the heart and allows you to connect with others on a deeper, more human level. In Buddhism, compassion is one of the Four Noble Truths, foundational teachings that guide us to a life of peace and understanding. The Buddha taught that suffering is an inevitable part of life, and that by cultivating compassion, we can begin to reduce this suffering, both for ourselves and for others. When you truly feel the suffering of others, you don't just recognize it with your mind, you experience it with your heart. And when you understand someone's pain, you naturally want to alleviate it, in whatever way you can. Empathy, on the other hand, is the ability to place yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they are feeling. It's not just about understanding from a distance. It's about walking alongside them in their experience, feeling their joys and sorrows as your own. This creates a bond of shared humanity, where differences fall away, and the heart connects in a deep and meaningful way. But why is compassion and empathy so important? Life can often feel lonely and isolating. We all go through moments of doubt, frustration, or pain, and sometimes we just want to feel seen, heard, and understood. Compassion and empathy bridge that gap. They create a space where people can feel supported, no matter what they are going through. They create a community of understanding where no one has to suffer alone. When we practice these qualities, we not only help others, but also heal ourselves. You might wonder, is it possible to cultivate compassion when life feels overwhelming? The answer is yes. Just like any skill, compassion is something that can be developed with practice. The Buddha spoke of the compassionate heart, a heart that expands with each act of kindness, each gesture of understanding. Start small. A simple smile to a stranger, a kind word to someone in need, or taking the time to listen to someone's story. These are all ways to practice compassion. But remember, true compassion doesn't come from a place of pity. It is not about feeling superior to others, thinking, I am doing something good for you. Instead, it comes from a place of equality. It is recognizing that we are all in this together, facing the same challenges, experiencing similar pains, and navigating the same joys. We are all interconnected, and our actions ripple out to others in ways we might not even realize. Empathy also invites us to look beyond the surface and see the deeper layers of human experience. When we connect with someone, we are not just seeing their words or actions, but we are sensing their emotions, their fears, their hopes. It allows us to look at the world through their eyes, offering us a perspective we might never have considered. This broadens our understanding and helps us respond in a way that is truly helpful. But sometimes, we struggle to feel empathy or compassion, especially towards people who are difficult to understand or when we have been hurt by others. The Buddha taught that even in these situations, compassion is essential. It is easy to love those who are kind to us, but true compassion extends even to those who have wronged us. When we can show compassion to those who have hurt us, we release ourselves from the chains of anger, resentment, and bitterness. We no longer allow the negativity of others to control us. Instead, we rise above it and offer understanding. This does not mean we condone harmful actions, but we choose to free ourselves from the suffering they bring. One of the most beautiful aspects of compassion and empathy is that they are contagious. When you show compassion to others, it inspires them to do the same. When you listen with empathy, others feel safe enough to open their hearts as well. This creates a ripple effect, spreading kindness, understanding, and love wherever it goes. Living with compassion and empathy doesn't just benefit others, it benefits you too. When you show care and understanding, you create a sense of peace within yourself. It softens the harsh edges of your heart and allows you to live with more patience, kindness, and love. It helps you to let go of judgment and see others as they truly are. Human beings with hopes, dreams, struggles, and joys. You may wonder how to practice compassion when you feel overwhelmed by your own struggles. The answer lies in self-compassion. Just as we show empathy and kindness to others, we must also show it to ourselves. When we are hard on ourselves, we create walls that keep us from growing. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our imperfections without self-criticism and to accept ourselves as we are, while still striving to improve. In Buddhism, the practice of loving kindness, or metta, is a way of developing compassion towards ourselves and others. It begins with sending love and positive wishes to yourself. You might say, "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering." Once you have cultivated love for yourself, you then extend this love to others, even those you may not feel close to. You wish them the same things. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. By repeating these phrases, you expand your heart, creating space for greater compassion and understanding. As you practice compassion and empathy, it's important to remember that it is a journey, not a destination. Every step you take brings you closer to a better version of yourself. Even when you make mistakes or fail, remember that the path of compassion is always open. It's never too late to start again, to offer kindness, or to show understanding. Your efforts, no matter how small, have the power to change the world. So, how can you begin? Start today with one small act of kindness. It could be as simple as listening without judgment or offering a hand to someone in need. Whatever it is, make it your intention to practice compassion every day. With each small step, you'll find yourself growing into a better, more connected person. By nurturing compassion and empathy in your life, you not only create stronger relationships, but you also contribute to a more peaceful and loving world. It's a simple, yet powerful act, one that can transform your life and the lives of those around you. Compassion is the bridge that connects us all, and when we open our hearts to others, we create a deeper, more meaningful existence for ourselves. The power of patience, mastering the art of self-discipline. Patience. It is a word we hear often, but how many of us truly understand its power? Patience is not simply waiting. It is the ability to remain calm and steadfast, even when life doesn't go as planned. It's a practice that requires deep understanding, and yet, it's a practice that can transform our lives if we cultivate it. Imagine a river flowing steadily. It doesn't rush, it doesn't force, but it slowly carves through rock, shaping the landscape over time. In the same way, patience allows us to shape our lives. It is the force that enables us to move forward, even when obstacles seem insurmountable. When we are patient, we trust the process, knowing that every step, no matter how small, brings us closer to our goal. But why do we struggle with patience? In a world of instant gratification, we often expect things to happen quickly. We want results now, and we get frustrated when things don't happen as fast as we want them to. But patience teaches us that true growth takes time. Just as a tree does not grow overnight, neither do we. The foundation of self-discipline lies in our ability to wait, to understand that growth is a gradual process. In Buddhism, patience is considered one of the highest virtues. It is not the type of patience that involves passively waiting for something to happen. Instead, it is an active patience, one that involves steady effort, understanding, and awareness in each moment. It's the patience to keep going when you feel tired. It's the patience to keep learning when you don't have all the answers. It's the patience to stay kind to yourself even when you make mistakes. Self-discipline and patience go hand in hand. Without patience, our efforts to discipline ourselves may falter. We may want to give up when things don't happen as quickly as we desire. But self-discipline is built through the repeated practice of patience. Every time we resist the urge to give in to impatience, we strengthen our ability to remain focused and dedicated to our goals. Patience allows us to recognize that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities to learn and grow. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to feel defeated. But the practice of patience teaches us to accept these moments with grace. Rather than fighting against the difficulties, we learn to embrace them as part of the journey. Each challenge is a teacher, offering us the wisdom we need to continue moving forward. Think of a potter shaping clay. The potter doesn't rush the process. They take their time, carefully molding the clay, allowing it to take the form it is meant to. Similarly, patience allows us to mold our lives. With patience, we learn to let go of the need for perfection and instead focus on steady progress. We let go of our expectations and trust that things will unfold as they are meant to. Self-discipline, when paired with patience, becomes a tool for transformation. It is the ability to stay committed to your goals, no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the journey becomes. It is the practice of showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's the courage to keep moving forward, one step at a time, knowing that progress, however slow, is still progress. We often hear the phrase, patience is a virtue, but it is more than just a moral quality. It is a practice that can change the way we live. When we practice patience, we begin to see the world differently. We are no longer in a rush. We no longer feel the pressure to be somewhere we're not. Instead, we find peace in the present moment. Patience allows us to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. How do we cultivate patience in our lives? The first step is to become aware of our impatience. When we feel frustrated or rushed, it is an opportunity to practice patience. Instead of reacting, we pause. We take a deep breath and remind ourselves that everything is unfolding in its own time. We trust that things will work out, and in the meantime, we focus on what we can do in the present moment. The second step is to embrace discomfort. Patience often involves sitting with discomfort. Whether it's the discomfort of waiting, the discomfort of uncertainty, or the discomfort of not knowing what will happen next. But when we embrace discomfort, we realize that it's not as painful as we think. It's just a part of the process. By accepting discomfort, we learn to remain calm in the face of challenges. The third step is to cultivate a long-term perspective. Patience requires us to see the bigger picture. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day struggles and lose sight of the long-term goals. But when we step back and remember why we're doing what we're doing, we realize that the little setbacks are not the end of the road. They are just temporary detours on the way to something greater. Lastly, patience teaches us to be kind to ourselves. Often, when we're impatient, we are hard on ourselves. We criticize ourselves for not being where we think we should be. But patience teaches us to treat ourselves with compassion. We are all on our own unique journey, and it's okay if it takes time. We don't have to be perfect, and we don't have to have everything figured out right now. The important thing is to keep moving forward with patience and understanding. As we practice patience, we find that self-discipline becomes easier. We no longer feel the need to force things. Instead, we allow ourselves to grow naturally at our own pace. We trust in the process and know that, with each step, we are becoming more disciplined, more focused, and more at peace with ourselves. The power of patience is not something that can be acquired overnight. It is a lifelong practice. But every day, as we choose patience over impatience, we grow stronger. We become more resilient, and we become the person we are meant to be. So, remember, the next time you feel frustrated or in a rush, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply and remind yourself that everything is unfolding in its own time. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and allow patience to guide you. With patience, you will master the art of self-discipline and become the best version of yourself. Living with purpose, aligning actions with values. A Zen master once asked, "Why do you wake up in the morning? Is it because the sun rises, or because your heart beats?" The student was silent, unsure how to respond. The master smiled and said, "You wake because life is calling you. But to what purpose, you must discover." In this part, we explore how to live with purpose. Many people drift through life, like leaves carried by the wind, not knowing where they are going or why. Living with purpose means finding clarity about your path, aligning your actions with your deepest values, and living intentionally, not by chance. To understand purpose, think of a candle. A candle exists to give light, and it fulfills its purpose by burning. If it refuses to burn, it cannot light the darkness. In the same way, each of us has a purpose, but we must embrace it and act on it to bring light into our lives and the lives of others. What is purpose? Purpose is not something that others can hand to you. It is not a job title, a social role, or a to-do list. Purpose is what gives your life meaning. It is the answer to the question, "Why am I here?" Buddhism teaches that living with purpose begins with self-awareness. You must look deeply into your heart and ask, "What truly matters to me? What brings me peace and joy? How can I serve the world?" How to discover your purpose? Start by reflecting on your values. What do you care about deeply? Is it kindness, learning, creativity, or helping others? Your values are like a compass, pointing you toward your purpose. Pay attention to what makes you feel alive and fulfilled. Sometimes, your purpose is hidden in small moments. A smile you bring to someone's face, a skill you share, or a challenge you overcome. Consider this. A farmer does not plant seeds randomly. They prepare the soil, choose the right seeds, and water them with care. In the same way, discovering your purpose requires mindfulness and effort. You must clear the soil of distractions, plant the seeds of meaningful actions, and nurture them patiently. Aligning actions with values. Once you know your values, the next step is to align your actions with them. This is where many people struggle. They know what they want, but are pulled in different directions by fear, doubt, or habits. To align your actions, you must let go of anything that takes you away from your purpose. Think of a river flowing toward the ocean. If the river gets blocked by rocks or diverted by other streams, it cannot reach its destination. In the same way, distractions and negativity can block your path. Clear away what doesn't serve your purpose. Say no to things that pull you away from your values, and say yes to what brings you closer to them. The role of mindfulness. Living with purpose requires mindfulness. Mindfulness is being fully present in each moment, aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It helps you stay on the path of purpose, even when life gets busy or challenging. When you act mindfully, you ensure that each step you take aligns with your values. Imagine a potter shaping clay. If their hands wander, the pot loses its shape. But if they stay focused, the clay becomes a beautiful vessel. Mindfulness is your focus, helping you shape your life into something meaningful. Purpose and service. Buddhism teaches that true purpose often lies in service to others. When you help someone, you connect with something greater than yourself. This doesn't mean you must sacrifice your own needs, but it means recognizing that we are all connected. By lifting others, you lift yourself. A simple example is the act of planting a tree. The tree provides shade and fruits for others, yet it also nourishes the soil and the air for its own growth. When you act with kindness and compassion, you not only fulfill your purpose, but also create a ripple effect that benefits everyone around you. Letting go of the fear of failure. Many people hesitate to pursue their purpose because they fear failure. But failure is not the opposite of purpose, it is part of the journey. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. Do not fear failure, fear standing still. A Zen saying goes, fall 7 times, rise 8. This reminds us that purpose is not about never falling. It's about always rising. Each time you rise, you grow stronger and wiser. Trust that even your missteps are guiding you toward your purpose. Purpose is ever evolving. Your purpose may change over time, and that is okay. Life is like a flowing river, constantly moving and shifting. What matters is that you stay connected to your values and adjust your course as needed. Do not cling to one fixed idea of purpose. Instead, stay open to what life reveals to you. Think of a musician. When they first learn to play, their purpose may be to master the basics. As they grow, their purpose may become sharing their music with others or teaching others to play. Purpose evolves with experience. Living with gratitude. Purpose flourishes in the soil of gratitude. When you appreciate what you have, you feel inspired to give back. Gratitude keeps you grounded and reminds you of the beauty in the present moment. Each day, take a moment to reflect on what you are grateful for. This practice will keep your purpose alive and vibrant. Final thoughts. Living with purpose is not about grand gestures or dramatic changes. It is about small, consistent actions that align with your values. It is about waking up each day and asking, how can I live meaningfully today? Remember, your purpose is unique to you. It is not something you must compete for or prove to others. It is simply the light that guides you. Trust it, follow it, and let it transform your life. Every step you take toward your purpose is a step toward becoming a better you. Keep walking, keep growing, and let your purpose shine brightly. Conclusion. Continuing the journey toward a better you. As we come to the end of this journey, you may feel that you've come a long way. Or perhaps, you may feel that there's still more to learn, more to understand. And that's perfectly okay. Remember, the journey of becoming a better you is never truly finished. It's an ongoing process, one step at a time. Just as a tree grows slowly, with each leaf unfolding one by one, so does your growth. There is no end to self-improvement, only continual progress. You've learned how to clear away the mental clutter that prevents you from growing. You've understood the importance of living in the present moment, of focusing on the small actions that lead to big changes. The teachings of Buddhism remind us that it's not about achieving perfection, but about being present, being mindful, and being compassionate toward ourselves and others. By applying these simple principles, you've begun the work of truly transforming yourself. But as we've seen, self-improvement isn't something that happens all at once. It's a process, like planting a seed and watching it grow over time. Don't rush. Allow yourself to change slowly, bit by bit, just as nature intended. Each moment is an opportunity to become better, to take another step forward. Even when you feel that you're not making progress, know that you are. You are always moving forward, even if it feels like you are standing still. Many people think that self-improvement requires grand gestures, big actions. But in reality, it's the small, everyday actions that matter the most. When you wake up in the morning, what thoughts do you choose to focus on? When you interact with others, do you approach them with kindness and understanding? These are the moments that shape who you are. The way you speak to yourself, the way you treat others, it all matters. These simple actions, repeated day after day, are what create lasting change. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called the middle way, which speaks to the importance of balance in life. It reminds us that extreme actions, whether positive or negative, lead to suffering. The key is moderation. If you try to change everything at once, you may become overwhelmed. But if you make small, balanced changes over time, your progress will feel natural, effortless, and sustainable. This is the way to lasting self-improvement, step by step, day by day, with patience and compassion. In your journey, there will be challenges. There will be times when you feel like you've taken 2 steps forward, only to take 1 step back. But remember, this is part of the process. Growth isn't always linear. Sometimes, the most valuable lessons come from setbacks and challenges. They are the soil in which your wisdom grows. If you treat each challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow, you will continue to move forward, even in the face of difficulty. Another important aspect of self-improvement is the practice of gratitude. As you go about your day, take a moment to appreciate the simple things: the sound of birds singing, the warmth of the sun on your face, the kindness of a friend. These moments of gratitude keep you grounded and connected to the present. They remind you that, no matter how hard life may seem at times, there is always beauty and goodness around you. Let's not forget the power of self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on ourselves when things don't go as planned, but Buddhism teaches us that we are our own best friends. Be kind to yourself. If you wouldn't say something hurtful to a friend, why say it to yourself? Treat yourself with the same love and respect you give to others. This doesn't mean being complacent or avoiding responsibility. It means treating yourself with the kindness and understanding that you deserve as a fellow human being. As you move forward on this journey of self-improvement, it's important to remember that no matter where you are today, you are enough. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness, just as you are. There is nothing more you need to become a better version of yourself than what you already possess within. It's all about discovering that inner wisdom, that calm presence that lies within you. So, as you continue on this path, know that each small step you take is a victory. Every mindful moment, every act of kindness, every time you catch yourself in negative thought and replace it with something positive, you are moving forward. And this is the most important thing: to keep moving, to keep learning, and to never stop growing. Before we end, I want to remind you that the journey of self-improvement isn't about achieving perfection, but about progress. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. What matters is your willingness to learn, your commitment to change, and your ability to forgive yourself when you fall short. You are human, and that's okay. The beauty of life lies in its imperfection. It is through our flaws that we find our strength, our compassion, and our wisdom. Now, as we conclude this part of the journey, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. Take a deep breath, and allow the wisdom of these teachings to settle in your heart. Trust that, with time, you will continue to grow and evolve into the person you are meant to be. There is no end to this path. It will continue as long as you choose to walk it. Thank you for being part of this journey. Keep going, keep growing, and remember, the best version of you is already within you, waiting to unfold. Stay present, stay mindful, and above all, stay compassionate. And as you continue forward, know that you are not alone. You are part of a community of seekers, all walking the same path of growth and discovery. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Wisdom Woven. Your support helps us continue sharing these teachings, helping others to find their path and become better versions of themselves. We are all in this together, growing and learning as we go. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to joining you on your next step of the journey. Now, take your next step with confidence and with peace, knowing that every moment is an opportunity to become a better you.